Hi guys, it's Olga Heldvine again, and today I have for you masculine box that I created with latest release from Craft&You design, and the collection is called Vintage Men. It's full of masculine patterns, and I pick few papers to create this box. So my shadow box base is a wooden case that I took off the lid. Then I measured my box because it's not like standard size, and you have to take into consideration that walls are quite thick and I want to cover everything completely. So I took my measurements and then I just stick my papers with gel medium inside my box. And every time when you cover any item, especially rectangular or a square one, remember to push all the edges with your bond folder to make sure that everything will adhere nicely. So inside of my box will be the stripy distressed paper, and outside I thought that it will look super cool if I would use this wooden pattern. And to create my outside cover, I left a small margin. You can see me folding it on the other side. It's quite easy to cover the outside of the box because I don't have to measure anything except of this small flip that will go in front and will cover the side. So when everything is covered completely, I will add a layer of clear gesso from Liquitex. It's my favorite. Currently, it has such a nice tooth. It's so easy to put other media products on top, and it gives me really good grip. So even the slippery items like the bottles that I will put inside of my box will hold really nice. So my box have a lot of cool items inside. I saved all those tiny bottles after small spirits, and I'm using labels from the label paper. And more about this paper you can get to know in my previous video that I did for Craft&You design. I will link it down below in the description box, or put a small card in the corner, and the paper have a lot of different labels, and you have it in 12 by 12 and 6 by 6, so your labels will fit any items. And it's also the cool paper to use it on its own as the layout base. But I thought that as we have all those Jack Daniels labels, it would be cool to create a small fake alcohol bottles, and I also covered small glass Tim Holtz bottle with one of the labels, and you could see me folding it and rolling in my hands to make sure that it will fit more oval shape. When I was assembling the bottles, I already knew more or less what other items I want to put. I think that the case like that would be perfect gift for any guy, or decoration to the office or to the man cave. I just wanted to have something with really a nice masculine touch, and I wanted to have the most from the collection. So I mounted some legs, and at this stage I have to put my box in the position that you can't see anything inside in the camera. I would recommend to put legs at this stage, not as final step, because I want to add some color around them, so they have to be dry. So I added those legs, and then I focused on my title slash embellishment. I really like to do some embellishments on my own, so I cut out the beer clock label a few times, and look out because it's in two sizes. On each paper you have it a few times, and those are two sizes, so make sure that you cut out the correct items. And I really like to layer elements like that. It doesn't make such a big difference on the camera or on the photo, but in real life it gives you really cool effect. So I cut out separately the sentiment o'clock and whole round element, including the beer glass, and I cut out the small detail and next to the beer handle, and then with my Mod Podge epoxy I covered the glass. I'm using the thin needle to spread my epoxy all around the glass element. If you don't have this product, you can easily replace it with Ranger Glossy Accent. It will give you similar result. I found that Mod Podge is a little bit cheaper and a little bit more dimensional, a little bit more 3D. And you can see my label. I think that it's a really cool detail, and I'm really proud of myself from creating that. It added really nice touch to my box. So my legs and the handle that I placed on top are already dry, and it's time for next elements. I have whole assortment of masculine elements. I love steampunk, I love masculine themes, so I own a lot of small bits and pieces that will be perfect fit. Like this tiny clock, I don't remember where I got it. I think in a retro craft shop really long time ago, and I was hoarding that item, and this time I thought that it will fit really nice to the box. You know, it's beer clock and that's the clock, and it looks really cool, and there is not so many artworks that I can use such a 3D element. Under my bureau clock label I placed a pile of chipboard to make sure that it's really, you know, 3D. The box is quite deep, and I really wanted my label to stand out, and I wanted whole composition to have a nice flow, and I would say that I achieved that. I'm really happy with this artwork, and I think that it's really cool, and I have so much fun doing that. Okay, so all my elements have to dry, and I will tell you that at this point that I will have to remove the bureau clock label when I will start to add colors, and I will have to add it later on. So if you have any items like the magnificent glass or the label that will be on your way when you're adding the colors, just do not stick them at first. To add colors, I decided to go with Inktense crayons, and I have no idea what happened with footage here. I think that I turned on the studio light and my camera went mad. It just for a while, when the colors are so weird. So I'm adding quite a lot of color, and then I smudge it with water and wiping the excess with wet cloth, because I covered everything with clear gesso, so I have no issue whatsoever to remove my color. And I just want to add, you know, vintage like effects, so I'm just making sure that all my edges are a little bit smudged. And if you don't have Draventin Inktense, you can use any watercolor crayons or just watercolor or distress ink. You will be able to achieve similar look. I'm switching between gelatos and Inktense crayons, and to be honest, I use them only because I had them on my desk from the previous work that I was using them, so I'm just reaching for most convenient medium at the time, but you can easily replace it, like I said, with even distress ink. You can just take it or load your brush with distress ink and just distress all the edges. As the final touch, I will add a lot of black splatters. I love black splatters, and I think that they fit any kind of project. And that's the final outcome. And I'm really happy with my small box. I think that it came out really nicely. If you like it, leave me thumbs up and maybe a comment, and see you soon in the next one. Have a nice and creative day, and check out the description box for all the links and informations. Thanks again, and see you soon. Bye.